one of my favorite series, online series, Skinny Girl in Transit. From the onset, I have been hooked. Because we see Midday being a fighter for their relationship. He might step away for a little bit, but he will always come back and fight for Tiwa. The most annoying character for me in season 5 was definitely the wedding planner. I just felt like in certain moments she was so insensitive to what was going on. But definitely the most evolved character was Shalewa. I didn't like the fact that when Tiwa went up to Tiwa 3.0, she just stopped rocking her natural hair. Overall, an amazing series, and I cannot wait for season 6. What? Hi guys, welcome to mochunkstv and welcome to another installment of Chit Chat with Mo, where we talk about life experiences. I give you some advice and put my own spin on it. Well, today's Chit Chat is a bit different. So we are doing a review of one of my favorite series, online series, Skinny Girl in Transit. I cannot believe that season 5 has come and gone, a whole 5 seasons. I actually can't remember when I started to watch Skinny Girl in Transit, but I just know from the onset, I have been hooked. And I think if I was to give season 5 one buzzword or catchphrase in describing it, I would say hooked. I feel like every single episode left us wanting more and more and more and more. And I know a lot of people felt like some of the storylines were dragging. Some of the palavers between Tiwa and Midday, Tiwa being the main character and Midday being her fiance, obviously they got engaged this season or last season. They got engaged. It was kind of like a merger between last season and this season, because basically towards the end of last season, Tiwa ended up crying in front of Midday's door because they broke up as a result of her sleeping with Fabrice. Interestingly enough though, now that I mention it, why was Fabrice not involved in season 5 at all? I thought he was going to come out somehow, because I remember when I was watching the trailer and Tiwa said she was pregnant, and I was so scared that for some reason that baby was Fabrice's, and I was thinking, right, that would have been the end of it. And obviously in the trailer as well, there was a bit where Midday said he was done. So I was thinking, what could it be that would make Midday so mad to the point where he's like, I'm done? Because we see Midday from season 4 being a fighter for their relationship. He might step away for a little bit, but he will always come back and fight for Tiwa. So I was thinking, the only thing that I can think of, because just the thought of Tiwa being with Fabrice, who was a friend, even though they weren't even together, how much more when they're actually together? I thought it could only be cheating. But thankfully, that wasn't that. She was just stressed, and that's why she missed her period. Let's go on to characters. Now, I wouldn't say she's my fave character from season 5, but definitely the most evolved character was Shalewa. The growth, like, she has really evolved from this young Lagos babe who likes guys buying her purses and giving her money and doesn't mind dating a married man so long as she's looking fly as a result of it, to somebody who's really putting her foot down and saying to her now partner, no, this is what I want. If you don't match up to that, you can skedaddle. And I'm just so, it's like seeing your little sister grow, although she's probably older than me, but it's just really, really amazing seeing Shalewa grow from somebody who was, you know, just very like, I'm all about my beauty, to finding a job, to finding the right guy, and, you know, working towards a relationship, but not desperately. It's kind of like, if it's not working, it's not working. You can move on to whoever. But that being said, though, I am worried about how, if there is to be a season 6, please, Ndani TV, let there be a season 6. If there's going to be a season 6, I'm really worried as to how Shalewa's and Mohammed's relationship is going to expand, if that makes sense. We've now got the issue of the wife that he was betrothed to. Although he's saying that he chooses Shalewa, we know that sometimes in our cultures, it can be quite hard to step away from what the family wants. So although right now he's with her, we never know, in the next season that could still crop up, as well as they are in an interfaith relationship and an intercultural relationship. Intercultural I guess that's becoming more and more normal these days. But then the fact that Muhammad is a Muslim and Shalewa is a Christian, and I know Mama Tiwa is very like into God. I don't know whether that might pose a problem or they might be just fine, because I know in Nigeria there's actually a lot of interfaith marriages. I'm not sure whether it works in this generation. Certainly in the older generation, there's loads of interfaith marriages, and they seem to work based off of, I respect what you believe in, I will not force or enforce what I believe in onto yourself, and the children have the choice to choose which way they go. I'm not sure, because our generation is definitely a lot more outspoken about certain things that they don't like. So I don't know how that relationship, I'm just a bit worried. I'm really, really happy with how Tiwa and Mide's relationship has evolved. A lot of the time during the season, I did feel like they were acting very childish. But then when I look at it, I realized that relationships are hard, and we're talking about two people from two different backgrounds coming together. We saw a lot of clash with their moms, Mama Tiwa, Mama Mide, but eventually we saw a resolution with them when they both came against the Ashoki seller that was spreading gossip about Tiwa and Mide's families. So we saw them coming together and reaching that resolution, even though they had very different ideas about like even food for the wedding. Like Mama Mide wanted like high class tush and put together kind of stuff. And although Mama Tiwa and her family also have money, she doesn't mind doing the local dishes like the amalas and the begiri. So they were clashing on things like that. They were clashing on colours. Although if I was to go with somebody who would probably be good at picking colours for a wedding, it would probably be Mama Tiwa. Although she's not as posh as Mama Mide, she probably has more experience in terms of and bears. So I think it was quite nice when they came together and fought against somebody that was fighting against the both of them. The most annoying character for me in season 5 was definitely the wedding planner. I just felt like in certain moments she was so insensitive to what was going on. It's like, come on. You know Mide's dad just passed away. There was no way she was not aware of that. It was their choice to carry on with the wedding planning, but I still feel like she should have understood why Mide especially wasn't willing to say, oh, I want the color green on the centerpiece, for example. She kept crying that nobody was paying her attention, and it's like, how can anybody pay you attention when so much is going on with the family right now? At many moments I was just like, sis, take a seat. Just sit down for a second, because you're just annoying everybody, and everybody needs time. Everyone grieves in different ways, for definite, and she wasn't giving the family that chance. Even Mama Tiwa got frustrated with her at a certain point, and we know Mama Tiwa is very dramatic, so for someone to get her to a point where she's stressed out. Now, a very confusing character for me was Didi. I didn't understand why she was sleeping around or having fun with men, so to speak, because in season 4 she was in a committed relationship, and in season 5 we now see her being a bit of a Tinder hopper, if I can call it that. Someone that's like on a date with this guy, and mystery guy A, mystery guy B, and it was, I guess, giving some empowerment to women in the sense that they can, I guess, explore and enjoy casual dating and casual relationships as well. So I see it from that side as to how it can be a positive, because I know in Nigeria, for example, there's, you know, in anywhere in the world really, but being a Nigerian, it's not really ideal for a woman to sleep around or to be casually dating, or so I guess it was empowering in that sense to see a woman having autonomy over her dating and love life. But it was a bit worrying as well, because I just didn't know where it came from. There was no closure in terms of what happened to the last boyfriend that she was with, and it was just out of the blue, and we still got no resolution in a sense of, did she just choose to carry on? Did they just choose to change her character to make her a bit more fun? It was just a bit confusing. Someone I really, really wanted to see more of was Tiwa's dad. He barely says anything in any of the seasons. So far, we haven't seen his character evolve. It's just always in the background, quiet. I guess it does depict very accurately what, you know, most Nigerian fathers can be like, kind of present in terms of finances and making sure the family was okay. But in terms of being involved in planning Tiwa's wedding and It was kind of like Mama Tiwa just brought a list and was like, do you approve? In fact, they thought about it a little bit, but it was kind of like he was the money maker and to kind of supply all their needs. But I really, really wanted to see more of him. I mean, there were times when we can see that Tiwa does really love him in a sense that she's able to let him in on certain intimate issues as opposed to her mom, who is more dramatic. So we understand why she would want to go to the more calm parent. But I did want to see Baba Tiwa saying more lines, for God's sakes, just saying more, being more present. I guess the nature of his job does mean that he travels a lot, but you know what, let's see him on a jet. Let's see what Baba Tiwa gets up to. Now let's talk about Midday a bit. Let's go into Midday first, and then I'll go into my comments on Tiwa as a character in season 5. Midday turned into a bit of a villain, and it was really weird seeing his villainous side. You know, season 3, 4, we saw him being very romantic, and everybody was like, oh God, provide me my own Midday, But in season 5, we saw a lot of those comments change to what's wrong with Midday. Midday's being very childish. Is he the first person to lose somebody? A lot of negative comments concerning his character. And I feel like, again, it was all character involvement. And the fact that as you grow and as you mature, sometimes there needs to be a shaking. And that shaking can be a bit ugly until you become the best version of yourself. And we see towards the end that he learns now to be his own man, especially the fact that his father passed away. It was a bit, I think what he was battling with was not having that father figure to go back to and be like, oh, this is going on in my relationship, what do I do? So he was, I guess, very, very scared, because now he has to stand on his own 2 feet as the man of the house. And I think that is a huge pressure that, you know, a lot of Nigerian men do have to face, even when their fathers are alive. That whole be a man thing, the way we see masculinity sometimes can be a bit scary. And I think without his dad, he felt even more vulnerable, because there was no one giving him like the blueprint of this is how you do it. So I felt for him in that regard. But I did see a lot of people kind of turning on Midday comments wise. I didn't really like some of the things he was doing. But as I said, Midday always comes around, no matter what. He always comes back. Like when he came at the bridal shower and made up with Tiwa, they looked at the test results together and they found out that he wasn't the child's father. Speaking of which, that his sister is so evil. Darren, thank God that she started receiving a little some towards the end of the season, because my girl was so cranky the entire season. You brought Tiwa and Midday back together. Okay, all glory to God, but it was through her intervention that they got back together. And then she was mad that they got engaged. Sis, is everything okay up there? Because that was a bit strange to me. Darren then said that she only did that so Midday would stop being miserable. Obviously, she loves her brother so much. That love was the kind of love that then makes her be evil to everybody that tries to come close to him. Even though Tiwa was amazing, or is amazing for Midday, a lot of the time it was over the top. I was really hoping and praying that Midday was going to cut her off completely, but he just shouted at her once. I guess we can take it. And they made up in the end. It was one sorry ass apology, but we got there in the end, and Tiwa and Darren are good. You can see that I'm just like rolling my eyes very slightly, because even when she found love, I was just like, okay, Sha, come off my screen. What's next in terms of Tiwa and Midday? Very annoying character. Now let's go on to Tiwa. There's just one comment in terms of Tiwa's evolution from season 1 through 5. And I made this comment on my Instagram, and a few people popped up to kind of converse with me in that regard. Where did Tiwa's natural hair go? I didn't like the fact that when Tiwa went up to Tiwa 3.0, she just stopped rocking her natural hair. And I don't know whether that was a unanimous decision in terms of the producers and the directors and the writers of Skinny Girl in Transit. But I'm going to use the word dangerous. I feel like it's a very dangerous narrative that we use when it comes to Black women in a lot of like mainstream series. Post Tiwa 3.0, her natural hair almost seemed like it wasn't good enough now to be that new, evolved, better, flashy bomb babe Tiwa, you know, and I didn't like that at all. It seemed very subtle and it might seem like a small thing, but for someone like me who's natural, I think representation matters so much. I am personally very intentional about rocking my natural hair on my channel. Very rarely would you see me with extensions in or with weave in, and that's because I know I'm in, even if it's a position of micro influence, there is still some influence there. And I think it's very important for people who look like me see me rocking me in my most authentic self. I would have loved to see Tiwa in some nice natural styles. I think it's Tasha HQ or Tashala HQ in Nigeria does the most beautiful natural hairstyles. Why wasn't she invited on set to come and create some nice styles for Tiwa? I guess there's this notion of natural hair not being glam enough or not being mature enough sometimes, and I think we as Black people, we as Nigerians, we definitely need to break out of that, and we need to start seeing more of that on the screen. We might be accepting it in social circles, but we need to see it in entertainment. We need to see it in front of us. Our favorite TV shows, we need to be seeing. I'm not saying it's by force, but it would have been nice to see 1 or 2 natural hairstyles on Tiwa, aside from when she went to the gym, because in season 1, season 2, we saw Tiwa rocking her natural hair to work. So why wasn't that suddenly good enough? And now that she's going to be on TV, I don't even know how much more that might be, you know, pronounced. Aside from that, her style on point, makeup on fleek, everything just really nice. And I like how Tiwa is so calm. I think it's something that a lot of people probably didn't spot in terms of conflict resolution. She's very, very mature, and her counsel is not even like it's that strong. Come on, Didi just jokes about a lot of things. I mean, they will tell her the truth. Mama Tiwa, she exaggerates things, so Tiwa doesn't really share things with her. But Tiwa, 9 times out of 10, makes nice, conscientious decisions that aid her relationship in the end. And just before I close, my absolute favorite scene. Oh my God. This might be a spoiler, but when Mama Tiwa prayed for Tiwa in Yoruba, this was just so pure. I think a lot of people will agree with me and say, Can You Go in Transit felt so real. There is nothing more pure than your parents just pouring out blessings on you in prayer. And it's like, I want you to do well, even better than I did. And I want you to be so happy. And I just, it was so beautiful. And the final scene, it was kind of like it came all together, and it was like, what you marry at last, after all the ups and downs, the marriage counseling, people that try to put pepper into their salt. How did they say that thing? Something into my gari. Sand, yeah. The darings that try to pour sand into their gari, and God just came and just brought everything so beautifully together. And I guess it just goes to show again, if it's meant to be, it will be. If there's anything that you can learn from Skinny Girl in Transit season 5, is that no matter what, no weapon, no daring formed or fashioned against your Tiwa and Mide shall prosper. Team Mide 2019, we made it. Or if I was to give season 5 an overall score, I would say it was a solid 8 out of 10. Just the few criticisms that I had took those last 2 points off. But overall, an amazing series, and I cannot wait for season 6. I am really looking forward to seeing how Shalewa's and Mohammed's relationship goes. Tiwa's new career on TV. What else? Didi, I want to see some resolution to what's going on with her right now. Relationship-wise, I want to see more of Baba Tiwa. And what else? Darren, I don't really want to see Darren on my screen anymore. And that's all I really have for you guys. Make sure you like this video if you liked it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to this channel for more. Until next time, guys, peace and love, peace and chunks.